please. We're very honored to have the chairman of the FCC here, Julius Genachowski, and Mayor Kwan. We're about to start the program. If we could have everybody's attention, get everybody to sit down, please. Appreciate it.
Good morning, everybody. You're not going to hear amplification from these microphones. They're really for the webcasting that's going on today. So good morning and welcome to the Stride Center. My name is Barry Hathaway and I'm the Executive Director at the Stride Center. And as you can imagine, we're absolutely thrilled that the Chairman and the Mayor and the State IT Department have chosen the Stride Center to make this announcement. The Stride Center is a nonprofit organization that is completely dedicated to helping people out of poverty. We are an anti-poverty organization. But we have chosen technology as our lever for helping to move people out of poverty. So that'll happen in a continuum of services from access to technology, through access to broadband and computers, all the way through the continuum of careers in the information technology field. So I want to let you all know that we'd be very excited to give you tours at the end of the day today if you still have energy for that. I'd love to walk you through and show you our program. The Stride Center is located on the 4th floor, and we just got this room today for this event. So we are going to move quickly through the agenda today. Let me just tell you a couple more quick things about the Stride Center. We do operate 2 social venture businesses. One is called Reliatech, and Reliatech is a tech support business that hires our graduates and provides paid internships for our students and has a very robust computer refurbishing program that we use to make sure the computers are taken when they're given a second life and provided to low-income individuals in our communities. We also have a second social venture called EmpowerNet that is really a consulting business that is going to be helping to launch very successful programs like the Stride Center across California through other nonprofit organizations. So again, much more on that if you're interested in a tour, and please feel free to visit our website at stridecenter.org. That will link you to the other sites as well. So let me introduce you to the MC for today, Rochelle Chong. Rochelle has had many hats since I've known her. The PUC commissioner in San Francisco. Right now she's the, I always have to read this because for some reason it doesn't come easily for me, the special counsel for the California Technology Agency. So please welcome Rochelle Chong.
Thank you, Barry. So with no further ado, we want to welcome you to the Bridging the Digital Divide event. We are extremely honored to have with us today 2 distinguished guests. One is Mayor Jean Kwan, and also we have the chairman of the FCC here, who's an old friend of mine from the 90s when we were at the FCC together. So it's a great personal pleasure to welcome both of you here. With no further ado, we have welcome from the mayor. Please, Mayor.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I really want to welcome the chairperson of the FCC, and I'm so pleased to see it continuing in the tradition of making technology available to all of Americans at all community levels. We were chatting on the way over that when I was a school board member, I actually helped lead a fight to save the E-rate, which is made computers accessible to schools and libraries across America, in urban and rural areas in particular. I'd like to say that the digital divide has disappeared. It has changed a little bit. We're still working on it. Oakland itself, in a couple weeks from now, will be doing our digital divide Bill of Rights for Oakland. We have always had a lot of innovative programs. It's great to be here in the Stride Center. I've just met a whole bunch of adults, and I encourage you to go on the tour. I'm hoping some of them will come and intern for me and other government agencies. But I believe what's happening here is that as more and more people are using technology through, the chairman and I both had our iPads out, and through phone applications, it's critical to start to use them in ways that empower people and get them more involved. I was talking to this speaker, and you'll hear from her about how I could use some phone apps that would help us during a disaster or for public safety, that would let communities become more involved. And so I really want to welcome the chairperson, and I'm really looking forward to knocking down the next barriers in the digital divide. And now that almost every teenager, almost of any income, has a cell phone, this may be the final thing that does it. So thank you very much for coming and honoring Oakland, and we hope to be great partners with you to open more doors for American kids and people of all incomes.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'm Rochelle Chong from the California Technology Agency. I wanted to welcome the chairman on behalf of the state. We are so pleased to have you here in the haven of mobile app developers, California. And we wanted to mention that we in California have been leaders in mobile applications. My agency believes very heavily in customer service. So last year, we made state databases available to mobile app developers. We made a template available for free, and we encouraged app developers to develop applications for mobile phones, any platform, so that every resident of California could access state information right in their hand with their mobile device. So right now, if you go to m.ca.gov, you will find 60 applications accessing state information. So for example, you can find out where to get your fishing license. If you're buying a used car, you can put in the car's VIN number, and it will tell you if it's ever failed a smog test. You can find your local school by putting in your zip code, and you can access whatever hospital or a public library is closest to you. We continue to encourage mobile applications providers to use state databases to bring information to everybody. And probably the main reason we've done this is that we know from statistics that some of the underserved communities in California, their only access is through a smartphone to the internet. And because a lot of government services are moving to the internet because of cost efficiencies and budget shortfalls, which I know the mayor knows a lot about, we are making an effort to get that government service to the people right in their hand. So California is proud to be the place where you're going to announce an important announcement, and we welcome you again to California, Mr. Chairman. We have a couple more speakers. I'm sorry. Next. He's very anxious to announce it, I can tell. We're very honored today to have Jen Polka today from Code for America, and she's going to make some very brief comments. Go ahead, Jen.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be here today. Our organization is essentially a Peace Corps or a Teach for America for designers and developers. They give a year of service to building apps for cities. And I think what I'd like to say today is that you would be shocked to know how much of the development community, the software developers out there who you think of as working in technology startups in the Bay Area or Google or Facebook, actually really want to write applications for their communities. We launched our program last year. We had really, very little visibility. We were brand new, and we were asking developers to take an entire year off, move to San Francisco, work for a very small stipend, and we had 362 applications of people who wanted to do this. And this is very, talented developers. So we hear every day from people who want to write apps for their communities, who want to take those skills that they have working in the technology industry and put them to use to make their communities better. So the more we see contests like this one, the more we're heartened that we're giving them the opportunity to do that. They need a structure in which to do it. Governments need, various state and local governments need the reasons to open up that data and make it available. But when you do make government data at any level available to developers, it's kind of like opening the candy store to the kids. They just want to build stuff with it. Our approach has been that we're taking the models from the startup tech world and working them in government, which is a real challenge. one important thing that we've found when we come into working with government and speaking with local government officials is that they believe, and it's part of the values of government, that they're not just trying to create a product, but they're serving everyone, every citizen of the city. And so we're trying to take that approach of serving every citizen and combining it with the approaches in the startup world where they're making a product for a particular market and using that tension to bridge the digital divide. So what we're really seeing out there is the importance of mobile applications as a way to bring this data to every citizen, not just the ones that are used to downloading iPhone apps, but to every citizen. And I think the penetration in the mobile market now is going to make that possible. And we're seeing just huge enthusiasm from the development community to build these applications. So I think we are committed to helping spread the word about apps for communities through all of our network, and we're committed to helping make this a huge success, and honored to be part of it. Thank you.
And our next speaker, thank you, is Damian Thorman from the Knight Foundation.
Great. Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to be with you for a little bit this morning. The Knight Foundation is committed to informed and engaged communities. In essence, we believe that the town square of old has moved to the internet, and that if you don't have access and the ability to connect to the internet, that you're in essence taken away from the town square or from democracy. So we're looking to make investments that allow people to connect in their communities, to engage in rich and deep ways, to bestir people to act in whatever self-interest they have for the betterment of the community. These, we believe, create more resilient and powerful communities that can withstand many of the challenges that we all see in the daily headlines. We really believe that the way to do this is through not acting alone, but working in concert with public-private partnerships that can increase our impact, our collective impact on tackling these huge problems. I've heard this morning from some of the folks here in the fantastic work that's happening in California to try to increase access and reduce that digital divide. Those are the kinds of projects that we need to continue to work with, and I know the president and the chairman have been working very hard to reduce these barriers. We think that and we're going to hear in just a few minutes an exciting announcement. We're really excited, and thank you very much. We, in essence, believe that democracy, these partnerships create more voices and better democracy, and appreciate your time.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Here we go. Thank you to all of you, Mayor Kwan. Thank you for taking the time. I don't know if I don't think it'll work. Well, let's see. All right, there we go. Excellent. Perfect. So, Mayor, thank you. It's just a pleasure to be here in Oakland. Rochelle Chong, my old friend. It's great to see you and the excellent work you're doing in California. And, Jen Palka and Damian Thornton, thank you. I know Suzanne Wright McPeak of CETF is here as well. I thank you all for what you're doing at the state and local level, harnessing the opportunities of communications technologies to bring opportunity to all Americans. That's what we're focusing on at the federal level, and it's because of as my colleagues here have said, the most transformative technological breakthrough of our time is high-speed internet, wired and wireless high-speed internet, broadband. It has as much potential to fuel innovation in the 21st century as electricity did in the 20th century. It is, I used to say broadband has now actually become our indispensable platform for economic growth and job creation, for addressing major national challenges like education and healthcare and energy and public safety. Mobile apps, I'm glad that we've heard those emphasized. Just incredible innovation, particularly coming out of this region of the country. And mobile, of course, as we heard, is becoming particularly important to broadband access for communities that have been behind on broadband access. Broadband is not a luxury. It is a necessity for full participation in our economy and our democracy. And as everything goes digital, the costs of digital exclusion are rising. Take job postings. Used to be that if you were looking for a job, you could get your newspaper, look at the classifieds, call up, apply for a job. Well, it's not how it works anymore. Job postings have moved online. If you don't have online access, you can't find a job. And increasingly, if you don't have basic digital skills, you can't get jobs that are available. Yet, over 100 million Americans don't sign up for broadband. They're not online. That's about a third of our population who are non-adopters of this new essential technology. And that percentage is even higher among low-income Americans, people with disabilities, minorities, those whose first language isn't English, rural Americans. Our broadband adoption rate in the US, about 67%, compares to about 90% in Singapore, South Korea. We've got to improve these numbers to compete effectively in today's global economy and to make sure that all of our citizens have a chance to be a part of our digital economy and of our democracy. Now, our research and the research of others shows that several factors contribute to this disappointing broadband adoption rate, to this digital divide in America, and they include the availability and affordability of broadband service, a lack of digital skills or digital literacy, and more than half of those who aren't online say they haven't signed up for broadband because they don't think it's relevant to their lives. Well, the FCC has been working with others inside and outside government to help get the message out. In the 21st century, in our economy, in our communities, there are few innovations more relevant to our lives. And we have to work together to overcome these barriers and to increase broadband adoption and use. It's why at the FCC, we're working to modernize programs like the Universal Service Fund and Lifeline LinkUp, modernize them so that they focus on the modern universal service challenges, broadband deployment and adoption. As I was mentioning to the mayor before, I hadn't appreciated how active the mayor has been in the E-rate program, which helps schools connect to the internet. We've been modernizing that program to give schools more flexibility to open up their E-rate technology and equipment to communities. We've started a pilot program to give schools a chance to experiment with wireless connectivity using E-rate funding. We're very excited about that, and we look forward to great success. All of these reasons are why we're working to seize the opportunities of wireless and meet the real challenges that we have ahead, the spectrum, the looming spectrum crunch that we worry about a lot. We need to free up more spectrum for mobile broadband so that all of these incredible devices and all the consumers and businesses who are using them and creating demand on these platforms have the invisible infrastructure that will actually support the vibrant service and opportunities they provide. So this is all why I'm so pleased to be here today. I'm very glad to highlight the excellent work that's being done here in California, here in Oakland, here at the Stride Center. You're showing firsthand how technology can make a difference. We got to see the Stride Center earlier. It's an organization focused on digital literacy, teaching people basic skills, giving them a chance to participate in our economy and get jobs that require basic digital skills. There's much good that government can do to help tackle our broadband challenges, but government can't meet these challenges alone. Success is going to require sustained attention and effort from community organizations like Stride, nonprofits like the Knight Foundation, private companies like broadband providers and other technology, software and hardware companies. As I mentioned, I saw Stride this morning, and it's a great example of how people from the private and public sector can come together to make real change in people's lives using technology. This whole area of broadband adoption, high-speed internet adoption, is as much a win-win as anything I've seen. For every new broadband subscriber, well, that helps increase our national adoption rate, benefiting the new subscriber and the company offering service, helping drive our economy and our global competitiveness. So today, we hope to spur more of this with an innovative approach. We're launching Apps for Communities, a joint initiative sponsored by the Knight Foundation and the Federal Communications Commission. As part of this initiative, the Knight Foundation is offering $100,000 in prizes for the best apps that engage people who are less likely to be online using public data to do so. This national competition is the first of its kind. It's a competition to make local information more usable to ordinary citizens, more actionable, making the benefits of broadband more tangible for all Americans. We expect big things and great apps. We've heard a couple of terrific ideas already this morning. In the work leading up to the development of this competition, we heard other ideas like an app that can connect people to urgent care facilities in their communities and maybe show them exactly how to get there by public transportation. An app that might deliver seasonal or contract job postings to mobile phones directly by text message or using other apps. We encourage states, cities, and townships to open their public databases to developers. And we challenge developers to build great apps with that data, apps that can make a real difference to real people, and in doing so demonstrate the relevance that broadband and the opportunities broadband can unleash. So check out appsforcommunities.challenge.gov, appsforcommunities.challenge.gov, where you can find out more about this challenge, more about the prize money that's available, sign up for updates, and submit an app. Let's show people what broadband can do. Thank you.
At this time, because of the time, we are sorry, but the chairman and the mayor need to go immediately across the street to another meeting where there's a number of cities and mayors and communities waiting for him. So please, let's give a hand to the chairman for his visit to Oakland.
Thank you, Mayor.
This is going to be very, very cool.
All right, after a short break, we will begin our second panel on broadband issues after a short break.